They say a mother's intuition is a gift from God. I didn't want to believe mine, but on that quiet Sunday morning, standing in my kitchen in Knoxville, Tennessee, something in my chest told me that the worst day of my life was about to begin. My name is Helen Carter. I'm 70 years old, and until that day, I believed my family was unbreakable. I had lived in that house for 39 years. My husband, George, and I bought it when our oldest child was just a baby. We painted every wall ourselves. We planted the maple tree in the front yard the year our daughter was born. That house wasn't just a building. It was my life. And that Easter Sunday, my entire family was coming over for dinner. The kitchen smelled like honey ham and roasted potatoes. A pie was cooling on the counter. Outside, my grandchildren were running through the yard, searching for colorful eggs I had hidden earlier that morning. Everything looked peaceful, but my son, Aaron, kept watching me, not smiling, not laughing, just watching, like a man studying a problem. "Mom," he said suddenly. His voice was soft, too soft. "Did you forget to turn the stove off again this morning?" I turned slowly toward him. "The stove?" I asked. "Yes," he said quickly. "I smelled gas when I came in." I looked at the stove. The burners were cold. The knobs were off. I had turned it off an hour earlier. "I didn't forget," I said. Aaron sighed dramatically and glanced at his wife, Natalie, who was leaning against the refrigerator, scrolling through her phone. Natalie didn't look up. She just nodded, like they had rehearsed this moment already. My stomach tightened. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. 6 months earlier, Aaron had found my car keys in the freezer. Or at least, that's what he said. Another time he claimed I had forgotten to lock the front door. Then there was the phone call Natalie insisted she made reminding me about a doctor appointment. A phone call I never remembered receiving. Every time something strange happened, they said the same word: confusion. At first I laughed it off, but slowly they started saying it more often and louder, in front of other people, in front of my husband. "Mom," Aaron said gently, stepping closer, "we're worried about you." I felt something cold move through my chest. "I'm fine," I replied. Aaron shook his head. "You left the garden hose running all night last week." "That was the neighbor's hose," I said. "And yesterday, you forgot where you parked your car." "No," I answered calmly. "I parked it in the garage." Natalie finally looked up from her phone. "You see," she said quietly, "she doesn't remember. Something was wrong, very wrong." But I didn't argue. Instead, I wiped my hands on my apron and walked past them, because suddenly I realized something important. Aaron wasn't here to help. He was here for something else. And I had a feeling I knew exactly what it was. By the time the guests arrived, the backyard looked like something from an old family postcard. Long wooden tables were covered with white tablecloths. Bowls of mashed potatoes, roasted vegetables, and glazed ham filled the center of the table. My daughter Lily was helping the grandchildren carry lemonade to the guests. Everyone was laughing. Everyone except Aaron. He stood at the head of the table with a dark leather folder tucked under his arm, and he kept tapping it against his leg. Tap, tap, tap. When our eyes met across the yard, he smiled. But it wasn't the smile of a loving son. It was the smile of a man who believed he had already won. I sat down slowly beside my husband George. He squeezed my hand gently. "You all right, Helen?" he whispered. "I'm fine," I said. But I was. Something in the air felt wrong. Heavy, like the moment before a thunderstorm. The chairs scraped across the wooden deck as everyone sat down. 20 people, neighbors, friends, family, all gathered for Easter dinner. Aaron suddenly stood up. He picked up a spoon and tapped it against his glass. Clink. The sound cut through every conversation. Everyone turned toward him. "I need everyone's attention for a moment," Aaron said. His voice sounded rehearsed, like he had practiced this speech many times. "This is difficult for me to say," he continued, "but it's about Mom." My daughter Lily frowned. "What about Mom?" she asked. Aaron cleared his throat. "For the past year, we've noticed some troubling signs." My heart started beating harder. "Confusion," he continued. "Memory loss. Dangerous mistakes." George leaned forward. "What are you talking about, son?" he said. Aaron ignored him. "Last week, Mom left the stove on for hours." "That's not true," I said quietly. Aaron continued, as if I hadn't spoken. "And 2 days ago, she forgot where she was driving and ended up 20 miles outside town." "That also isn't true," I said. Lily looked confused. "Aaron, why didn't you tell us about this?" Aaron opened his leather folder slowly. Inside were several printed papers. "We spoke with a specialist," he said, "and the results are very serious." Natalie placed a comforting hand on his arm, pretending to support him. "The doctor believes Mom is developing advanced dementia." Gasps spread around the table. My neighbor, Mrs. Parker, covered her mouth. "Oh, Helen." George looked stunned. "That can't be right," he said. Aaron nodded solemnly. "I wish it was." Then he said the words that explained everything. "We've already arranged professional care." My daughter, Lily, leaned forward. "What kind of care?" Aaron took a breath. "We're moving Mom into Willow Creek Memory Center tomorrow morning." The entire table exploded. "What?" Lily shouted. "You can't just decide that." Aaron raised his hands like a calm authority figure. "It's for her safety and to cover the cost of treatment." He placed the folder on the table. "We've accepted a cash offer on the house." The house, there it was, the real reason. The conversation stopped instantly. My husband George stared at him like he had never seen him before. "You're selling our home?" he asked slowly. Aaron nodded. It's the responsible thing to do. Silence fell over the entire yard. Everyone turned to look at me, but I wasn't shocked. I wasn't crying. I wasn't even angry, because for the past 2 weeks, I had been waiting for this exact moment. I reached down beside my chair and picked up my knitting bag. Aaron noticed immediately. "Mom," he said gently, "you don't need to worry about anything anymore." I looked directly at him. Then I said calmly, "Aaron, before we continue, I think you should open the blue folder in my bag." Aaron frowned. "What folder?" I slowly pulled it out, a thick blue file, and slid it across the table toward him. The yard went completely silent. "You said the doctor diagnosed me with dementia," I said. "My dear son, why don't you read what my doctor says?" Aaron's face slowly began to change. The confidence disappeared, because the moment he saw the official medical seal on the folder, he knew something had gone terribly wrong. Aaron stared at the blue folder like it was a snake about to bite him. The entire table was silent. Even the children had stopped whispering. "Go ahead," I said calmly. "Open it." Aaron forced a small laugh. "Mom, this isn't necessary." "Oh, I think it is," I replied. My voice was no longer soft. It was steady, sharp, the way it used to sound when Aaron was a boy, and I caught him lying. "Open it." He hesitated, but 20 pairs of eyes were watching him now. Slowly, he opened the folder. The first page slid into view, a thick official document. Aaron's eyes scanned the paper, and the color drained from his face. "What does it say?" Lily asked nervously. Aaron didn't answer, so I answered for him. "It says I spent 2 days in Nashville Neurological Clinic," I said. "I took every cognitive test they had. Memory tests, logic tests, brain scans. According to Dr. Elliot Grant, my cognitive score is 30 out of 30. No dementia, no memory loss, no confusion." The entire table erupted in whispers. Aaron slammed the folder shut. "This proves nothing," he snapped. But I wasn't finished. "Oh, but that's only the first report," I said. "Turn the page." Aaron didn't move, so my husband George reached over and took the folder from him. He turned the page and began reading silently. At first, his eyebrows lifted in confusion. Then his face hardened. Slowly, he looked up at our son. "What is this?" George asked. Aaron said nothing, so I told everyone. "That," I said, "is a financial investigation." I had hired a private investigator 2 weeks earlier. His name was Marcus Doyle, and what he found explained everything. Aaron wasn't worried about my health. Aaron was drowning in debt. $200,000. A failed real estate investment in Florida. A bank foreclosure notice on his house. And only 48 hours before the bank took everything. My house was his escape plan. The yard went silent again. Lily slowly stood up. "You were going to declare Mom mentally incompetent so you could sell her house." Aaron's jaw tightened. I was trying to fix things, he shouted. You don't understand the pressure I'm under. You were stealing from your own mother, Lily shouted back. Natalie suddenly stepped forward. This is ridiculous, she snapped. She's manipulating everyone. But no one was listening anymore. George closed the folder slowly. Then he looked at his son with eyes I had never seen before. Cold, disappointed. You tried to destroy your mother, he said quietly. Aaron's voice broke. I was desperate. You were greedy, George answered. Aaron grabbed his folder from the table. This family will regret this, he muttered. Then he stormed across the yard. Natalie followed him, her heels clicking loudly on the wooden deck. Their car roared to life in the driveway, and seconds later, they were gone. Dust drifted across the road. The yard remained silent. Finally, George placed his hand over mine. I'm sorry, Helen, he whispered. I should have believed you. I squeezed his hand gently. It's over now, I said. Lily walked around the table and hugged me tightly. I'm so proud of you, Mom, she said. I looked around at the table, at my real family. Then I smiled. Well, I said calmly, the ham is getting cold. Everyone laughed nervously, and slowly, the sound of plates and forks returned. Dinner continued, but something in that yard had changed forever. Because that day, my family learned something important. Just because a woman grows old doesn't mean she grows weak. And sometimes, the person you think you're burying is the one who digs the trap.